the least I could do was help her a little bit, because I know she has been dreading making this again. This is on 7mm needles, and I get why people love to knit with chunky needles. It's so much fun because you progress so quickly. I don't know what to do now. I'm playing a bit of yarn chicken, but now I have 3 or 4 adult-sized sweaters currently on my needles, and that's a bit much. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway, and welcome to my knitting podcast. Here I talk about all things knitting, current projects, finished projects, planned projects. I talk a bit about yarn, just anything that pops into my head while we sit here and chat. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me this week. This week I've also had quite an exciting weeks in terms of non-knitting, but still like yarn and yarn room related things, because I did spring clean this room. I didn't do much except from like the actual cleaning stuff. I just reorganized a little bit, mainly this closet, but just that little bit of effort did so much. This room was starting to feel really cramped with all of the yarn and all of the yarn room things I have here now, and it is also our bedroom, but just moving that and reorganizing a little bit has made it feel so much. It has given us back so much space, so I'm really happy with that, especially considering how much yarn I've actually cramped into our bedroom. So that's been really great this week, and this feels like a new room now, honestly. And I've also had a really great week in terms of knitting, but I thought before we get into that I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing, and this is one of the things I kind of rediscovered when I did spring cleaning, because I also went through my wardrobe and I tried this on, and this is a top that I haven't really worn much. I haven't really been able to figure it out. I still don't think I'm there, but I've decided to just try it out. I really want to keep this, so I'm going to try it out any way I can. This is the Yoko top by Knitting for Olive. It's a really nice top that's knit with these nice decreases, or I think it also might be increases. I can't really remember. It has loads of I-cord details, I-cords. It has I-cords here too that I knit too long, so I have knotted those together. And then you also, I don't know if you can see, but in the back here, I have to stitch it together. So this was a beast of a project when I knit it up. It was really challenging and also really fun. And I also knitted in a then new to me yarn, and also quite expensive yarns. I haven't gotten it again. This is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. It wasn't great to work with because this silk is really rough, and I'm used to like wool, so knitting with silk, it wasn't the best experience, but it has made for a really nice top. The only bad thing about this top is that I haven't figured out how to wear it, but now I'm just going to try whatever until I figure out a way that I can wear this, because I really want to wear this and keep it in my wardrobe as a piece that I use. I think the color I knit this in is like Dusty Dove Blue or something. It's a really nice blue color. I love everything about this, so I'm really excited to have rediscovered it and be trying to figure out how to use it. So that's the Yoko top. I think I knit this in 2021. I knit it when I was very pregnant with my sons. I didn't get to try it on then. That's why it has some slight fit issues with these I-cords here, and also with the way this fits. Maybe I would want it to be a bit less, what would you call this? I would like it to be a bit further up, but it works if I wear a tank top underneath, so I'm just going to try it out. So that's what I'm wearing. But now we can get into everything I did this week. I don't quite know where to start with all of my knits this week. I thought for once I'm going to go through all of my active whips, because I have so many and I kind of need to go through them myself. But I think we'll have to start with the one thing I knit on this week that I don't have here currently, and that is that I helped my grandma knit a little bit on a project that she has for every one of her grandchildren, and also my son, her great-grandchild. She has knit a kind of backpack, We have my sons here, so I'm going to get that to show you. This is my son's backpack. I think mine's still at my parents', and I don't know if you can see, but this is a lot of work. All of this is like handcrafted. It's insane. So the least I could do was help her a little bit, because I know she has been dreading making this again. It is a lot of work. It's also, don't know if you can see, but it is like an actual backpack. Works very well. It's insane handwork, but I did help her a little bit, and I did the easiest part. I did help her with this part, like this plain part here of the backpack. This was, I knitted in the round, and then she's going to stick it. She's going to do all of the hard stuff. I just helped her with the color work here, and she had also done a lot before I took over. So you do 16 of these black dots going up, so I did 8 of them, so I did half of what you were supposed to do, and I'm so glad I was able to help her. She helps me so much, so I am really glad I'm able to help her back when it comes to knitting. And that's the first project I have, and I did finish that. We're also on a bit of time crunch, because this is for the, what do you call it, the christening of my youngest cousin. So I helped her with that, and I've already finished and given it back to my grandma. But that is the first project and kind of my main project this week until that was finished. And this is about how it will look. I know all of us grandchildren have one, and also my son. All of them are a bit different, because throughout the years she's used different yarn. I know this time she used Drops alpaca. This does not feel like Drops alpaca. This white is also a tiny bit whiter than the one we used now. I'll also pop in a picture. I did take one picture while I was working on it, but they are very similar, but they're not identical. But we all have these little backpacks, and they're amazing. And they also come with this cute little, it's supposed to be like a turkopp, we say in Norway, like a cup you drink out of when you go for walks in the forest, but this is like an imitation of one. But I also think this is like carved out by her or like family, so this is a really special piece, and I'm amazed that she has had the patience to knit for all of us. So that's where I started. And then I also, I don't know where to start. And then I have so many other projects, so I think we'll just have to go through them in the order that I remember them in. I don't know where to start. I think we'll start here with this one. This one I have not worked on. I don't know if I will bother taking it all out either, but this is the Augustins No. 1 that I'm working on for my friend, where I unfortunately ran out of yarn. That's still the situation. I really hope I'll be able to get yarn maybe this Monday or Tuesday. I think there is a slight possibility that I'll be able to get yarn then, because I want this off my needles, both because I want it to be done in time for the deadline, and I also want to clear my needles because there's a lot on them right now and I have more plans. But yeah, that's the Augustins No. 1. I have not worked on it, and this is knit in Drops Kid Silk and Drops Merino Extra Fine in beige, and I think the Kid Silk is called light beige and the Merino Extra Fine is called greyish. So that's that. And then I think we'll take the other basket like that. That's this one. This is bigger because it's more yarn in here. I also have yarn for a new project. But in here I have the Dawn to Dusk Shacket. I also unfortunately have not worked on this month. I did finish the skein of Lima that I was working on last week. I finished that last week, and I still haven't decided if I'm going to do another skein on the body or if I'm going to jump to doing the sleeves. And then I had so many other projects come up this week, so this has just been laying to the side. But I think I have decided that I'm going to continue working on the body, just one more skein to see more what the body looks like and get more progress on that, because I think that will be the hardest part to finish, because the body on this is supposed to be quite long, so it will kind of feel like I have a head start if I do another skein there, I think. And then I'll do one sleeve, and then I think I'll do 1 or 2 more sleeves on the skeins on the body, and then I'll do the next sleeve. I think that's the best way for me to do it, so I will keep as much as possible of my motivation, but I am super excited for this. I just need to free up time to work on it. This is knit in Drops Lima and Drops Kid Silk, and I can never remember what the colors are called, but this color is 9018, so 9018, and this Kid Silk is, I think, 37. And they are really great together. I highly recommend this color combo. It's really great to work with these yarns together as well. So that is the Dawn to Dusk. Both of those I haven't worked on, and then I think we'll continue with the ones I haven't worked on, because all of those are in baskets, so it's really easy to show them. This is the basket that used to be my basket of shame. I finished it being a basket of shame in time for New Year's. I finished weaving in the ends for all of the projects that had lived here for months, and then I had so many good intentions to turn this into the basket where I would carry my whips with me, because I do move around the house and I always like to keep my knitting close. I thought this would be great. It has handles, it's easy to just carry around with me. So I put all of my whips in here, and then I just unfortunately have not taken some of those whips out of here since I put them in. I have this one. This I haven't shown the updates on. I did knit on this a couple of weeks ago, right before going to Sandnes, but then I didn't bring it there, so you didn't get to see. But I knit this much on this a couple of weeks ago, so that's quite good progress. And then I think we'll just roll it out this once. I've done a lot on this. This is where I started with my scraps, and here it was mainly Nepal. This one is alpaca wool, and then all of this is Nepal. And then I got my hands on my mother's Nepal scraps. She had a lot as well. All of this is Nepal. She had Nepal scraps, and then I started again, and this is Vams, and this is Nepal again, and then this is Vams, and this is Alaska. So by this point I've put very many different yarns in here, and this is supposed to felt. I'm really nervous to see how this will felt, because it's really long, so I don't know if it will felt evenly, if like this part will maybe felt a lot and then this part maybe won't felt at all. I don't know, and I also don't know how alpaca wool versus Nepal versus Vams versus Alaska felts. I know all of them are feltable because they're all non-superwash, but some of them are alpaca wool mix, some of them are 100% wool. I don't know. I'm excited to see, nervous to see, but I think it will be really cool. This is supposed to be a felted sitting mat, so this will be felted, so it won't be as flimsy. And then my dream is for the whole family to be able to sit on this at once, so we, instead of packing with us like 3-4 different sitting mats, we can just bring one. So, and it's also really great to use up all of my scraps, because I find it so hard to figure out what to do with scraps of thick wool, because scraps of fingering weight, you can almost use up any amount of that. Even if you have like 2 grams of fingering weight, it can be a stripe for a baby sweater, but with chunky yarn it's so much harder. So this is my go-to for chunkier yarn when I need to get scraps out. Of course this has taken a lot, so I've used more than just my scraps, but I have found all of the bulky yarn in my stash, or all of the bulky yarn that's not like a huge quantity for an adult garment. I found that it's off to the side here, and my goal for this week actually is to knit all of that up, I have some plans for some felted slippers, and then the scraps from the felted slippers are going to go into here, and then I hope this will be done. We will have felted slippers and all of the chunky yarn will be out of my yarn stash, which I'm really excited about because I am also trying to stash bust, and it's not been going very fast at all. So I think getting chunky yarn out of my stash, which also knits up so quickly, will be a really great motivation boost to continue stash busting. I'm just going to try to roll this up because it's much easier to knit on this as well if it's rolled up. But you can see it's starting to get quite large, and I am really close to being finished with this. So I think maybe next week will be a week of felting for me, where I will have to felt all of the felted slippers and this one. Always super nerve-wracking. And then I have so much weird stuff in here. I don't know how it happens, but whenever I have a basket like this where my whips kind of go to die and they just get left in there, whenever I try to dig them out, there is so much weird stuff in here, like cables and needles I've lost, lots of different yarn. There's a pen in here. There is a gauge swatch for something entirely different. I don't know how it happens. Loads of random yarn. Don't know. But what I wanted to talk about was the last project in this bag, but that's been abandoned for very long and also has 2 skeins attached at the same time, so this is a mess. But that is my Christmas sweater. I still think this is a great sweater. I'm really excited to have it in my wardrobe when I get back to it, because I know that this turtleneck is amazing and I am missing a turtleneck in my wardrobe. I have one, but this is just perfect. I'm really excited and it feels great now, so I know it will be even better once this is washed. But I kind of stopped working on this. I need to put this down. I stopped working on this when I figured out I wasn't going to be able to finish it in time for December at all. I definitely didn't finish it for Christmas, and then I didn't finish it in December even, and then I kind of stopped working on it. But when I start working on it again, which will probably not be until like November, I don't have that much left. I have done also most of the like tricky parts, the mat and the armhole depth and the pickups and everything. Those are all done, so I kind of just get to cruise in once I decide to go back to this. I have to do more on the body and I have to finish both sleeves. I am about halfway on this sleeve, I think. I also have to figure out what kind of ribbing I want to have. I know I want to have 2x2 ribbing, but I don't know how long, if I want it folded, what I want to do. But figure out the sleeves, finish the body. I think I want a split hem on the body. And then my idea, I don't know if you can see my swatch back here. I don't think you can. But I did a swatch back when I started this in early December last year. And I embroidered stars on it. And I think that's a really good look. And that's still my plan for this, to finish it and then embroider stars scattered throughout it, because our red sweater isn't that Christmassy, but with some golden stars I think it will be super Christmassy and really special. I don't have any other embroidered sweaters, don't have any other really turtlenecks. This will be perfect addition to my knitted wardrobe. This is also knit in a brand new yarn to me. This is knit in Dusk from Hillesvåg. I think it's a Norwegian wool in this lovely color. In Norwegian it's called bonnerød, which directly translated is farmer's red, and I love this red. It's amazing. I am so excited to get this sweater in my wardrobe, and I know once it's in my wardrobe I will be wearing it year round, even if it is a Christmas sweater, because this is just amazing. But I lost all motivation and I haven't wanted to force myself with this, because I know when I force myself with knitting I lose even more motivation and then I might not come back to it at all. So this is just getting the piece it needs, and I know I want to come back to it. I just have to get back to the right season. But yeah, that is my Christmas sweater that I am super excited about, and not so excited about figuring out this one. I need to go back to working on it, but it will be a great sweater. So back to the basket that goes. Let me just put everything back. And now we can move into... No, I have one more knit that I haven't knit on. Let me see. I have so many different bags, and I keep my knitting so many different places that I can hardly remember. But I also have this one. This is the Anker sweater by Petiteknit, knit in some convenience store yarn. It's from Nille. It is merino wool. It's super wash. It's super cute in the smallest size. Still have not gotten around to picking up and doing the sleeves for this. It wouldn't take me that long once I just pick up the sleeves, but haven't gotten around to that yet. I hope this will be one of the things I finish this week, because if I just give it a whole evening, this will be done, and I need to clear my needles. I store all of my knitting projects in the Knit and Note app, but even that's becoming a bit crowded now, so I am really excited to get some of these off my needles. But I think that concludes all of my inactive projects. I don't know how many that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inactive projects. That's not that great, and some of them have been so inactive for so long that I can barely call them an active project anymore. They're honestly turning into UFOs, unfinished objects. But let's talk about my projects that I've actually worked on this week, and we'll start with the most fun one, and that is the Korsvika jacket that I'm test knitting. And this is amazing. I'm having so much fun. I've always thought that as a knitter I prefer thinner needles, which I do to some extent. I love knitting on thinner needles, and I can do so for hours without my hands hurting. And our project being on 2.5mm needles will never like scare me away. But this is on 7mm needles, and I get why people love to knit with chunky needles. It's so much fun because you progress so quickly. I'm knitting this in an unknown yarn because I got the yarn for this at the Sandnes Garn factory outlet. So as you can see, there is no name on here, but I have seen that if I take this off, that it says Fritidsgarn inside of here, and it does feel and look very similar to other Fritidsgarn that I've touched. So they haven't labeled it as Fritidsgarn, but it is really close to it being that, so I'm just going to call it Fritidsgarn. And I have started knitting up this jacket. I, to a fault, will knit all of my selfish projects on super tiny needles, so it's really crowded here, but I'll show it as best as I can. You start with the back yoke here and do German short rows, and that is my favorite part of any project. If I can get something that starts with casting on for the back yoke and then doing German short rows, I'm sold. I love that. It's the best way of starting a project, and that's how this started. And then you just do a tiny bit of knitting back and forth after the German short rows because it goes by so quickly because it is on 7mm needles. And then I picked up for the shoulder, knit a little bit of back and forth, and then increased for the neckline. This is like a crew neck jacket, I think that's the right word for it. And then I've just finished the shoulder, did the same on this side, and then started working in the round. I've done a bit over 5 centimeters, I'd say, in the round here, and then I ran out of that skein. So, and I really wanted to try it on and kind of gauge how it's looking right now. It is a bit hard to try it on because of my refusal to change to a needle that it would actually fit on. But I decided to do the neckline because every time you get to do some sort of edge on a knitting project, it looks so much more like what it's intended to. Before I did this neckline, all of this would like curl in on itself because everything else has just been stockinette. But now it like, you can actually see that this is a neckline, and I love getting to those points where you can see it start turning into something. I also really want to do the edge here, but that is in double knitting and I have to do it at the very end after I finished everything else, so can't do that right now. But I did get to do the neckline and it did a lot, and I think since I've been able to do more than 5 centimeters here, that this is also a good spot to start doing the sleeves. It's a little part of me thinks that I maybe should do one more skein on the body where I also change to a bigger needle, so it's easier to try it on when I do the sleeves, but I don't know. I also don't have a 7mm 40 centimeter circular. I like don't have any of the appropriate needle sizes when it comes to the needle sizes above 5mm. For everything below 5mm, I have DPNs, I have 40 centimeter circulars, I have interchangeable circulars, but for everything above 5mm, I have no DPNs, and I only have like 60 or 80 or 100 centimeters interchangeable circulars, and I hate Magic Loop. I've tried and I've given it so many chances, and I think something happened where it got a little bit more enjoyable, so I think I figured out how to do it now. Still not for me. I like 40 centimeter circulars and I actually really love DPNs, so I'm on a hunt to get more DPNs and more 40 centimeter circulars, so I think I'll need to get one for this. I also might just go visit my mom and grandma and see if I can borrow one from them, because they have so many different needles. But this is how the Korsvika jacket is looking so far. As I said, this is a test knit. I think this pattern will probably be coming out in time for fall, maybe, or a bit before fall, so you can knit it in time for fall. So far it's been really fun, and this yarn is actually surprisingly soft. That's the one thing where I'm thinking that maybe it's not fritidsgarn, because this is feeling really, really, really soft even now before washing. So I am really excited for this, and I am a sucker for a grey jacket. I think I'll get so much use out of this. This is also super light, and there is something about summer and like chunky knits in light colors that are oversized is such a summer vibe. Is at least where I come from in Norway, like chunky light summer knits are a huge thing, not necessarily in fritidsgarn, but maybe in like chunky mohair to throw on in the summer evening. So this is amazing even for this summer. I cannot wait to be able to wear this, and as I said, it knits up super quickly. This is done in just a couple of days, so I really hope I'll be able to come here next week with a new cardigan. This is also getting a lot of yarn out of my stash, but I also did buy the yarn specifically for this project, so I don't know if that counts as stash busting. And then the last active project I have that I worked on is a totally new project, because I just had to cast on something new yesterday, because I was waiting a bit on the Testknit to get some answers, and then I didn't feel any of the other projects, so I cast on something new in a yarn I have been waiting for some time to use. This is, let me see, it's Sandnes Garn Sunday in this lovely color. I got it, it was on sale I think, so I got 2 skeins. I thought I'll make a hat, and I've been really wanting the weekend hat by Petiteknit, so I've decided to knit that. But what I had forgot to check was the yarn amount, because for both the Oslo hat and for the hipster hat, the like female size takes 100 grams of yarn, but for the weekend hat it takes 150 grams of yarn. So I don't know what to do now. I'm playing a bit of yarn chicken, but I think I'll just modify the folds a little bit and make it work, because I really want a weekend hat in this color. So far it's looking really pretty. I am super excited, and I love ribbing. I love 2x2 ribbing, like the hipster hat. That's my favorite, but I already have 2 hipster hats and I have 1 Oslo hat that I don't use the most. I don't find the fit of the Oslo hat the best, so I want to try this out and get something different than the hipster hat. I did really like the idea of 3 folds, but I don't think I'm going to get that since I don't have enough yarn, but it's going to work out some sort of way either way, so I'm excited, and it's been really nice to work up so far. I think this may be my first time using Sunday. I haven't used that much Sunday before, if at all, and it is feeling really nice. I think I've heard some things about Sunday felting a lot. I hope it felts less when it's double-stranded and knit quite tightly, and it's also a hat, so it probably won't felt that much, but that's my progress in just a little more than a day. That's my last active project, but then I also have 2 finished projects, or they're like kind of finished. The knitting part of them is finished, and the first one of those is the zipper sweater. I knit on this last week as well. I think right before last podcast I had totally frogged this, and then I had knit up quite a lot again by last podcast, but now it's finished. I have finished all of the body and both sleeves, and it's looking much better now. I did try it on my son, and I knit this in size 6 to 7 years, and I still would say that it doesn't exactly look like a 6 to 7 year size. It did fit him oversized, but it wasn't as oversized as I would have imagined 6 to 7 years being, but it's oversized. It's at least going to fit him for 2 years, so I'm happy. It would have like barely fit him this year if I hadn't gotten that updated pattern. So that is finished knitting. I've knit the thing for the zipper here, haven't fastened that, and also have not sewn in the zipper, but I have everything ready. But as I said, when I don't do the zipper while I'm working on the knitting, I tend to procrastinate. I haven't meant to procrastinate this week. I've just gotten really busy with the spring cleaning and then helping my grandma and then the Testknit. So I wouldn't classify it exactly as procrastinating, but hopefully I'll do it this week so it doesn't turn into procrastinating, because if I don't do it now, I won't do it for months, and I really want this in his wardrobe. But it's done being knit, and then I had quite a few skeins left over after I'd finished the zipper sweater, because I always buy at least 1 more skein than the pattern says you need. And then also a lot of the time, the patterns use a little bit less yarn than they say, so I end up with tons left over. So I decided to knit him felted slippers, because he needs new ones anyways. He loves the one I knit him, I think 2 years ago, but they're so small he can't, he has to curl his toes to fit into them. So I've made him new ones. So far he hates them. They're the wrong color. He wanted red ones. He is in a huge red phase, but they're blue. I hope he'll change his mind. He also really likes matching, so I hope the fact that they match his zipper sweater will help him wear them. But I've made them anyway. If he won't wear them, I will gift them as a Christmas gift. This is size 29 to 30 shoe size. They look really weird now, but you're supposed to sew this part together and then felt them and then tuck one of these into the other one, and then you have double felted slippers. This pattern is a free pattern from Sandnes Garn. This is my 3rd time making them. I've made 1 successful pair for my son before, 1 failed pair for myself, and then another pair for my son. And I have yarn for a pair for my husband and a pair for myself, so I hope to get to that this week. But I did knit these 100% using magic loop, and I did hate every second of it, so I want to get my hands on some DPNs before I continue my felted slipper project. But I did get to use up, I think, 2.5 skeins doing this. And then the like half skein that's left, I'm going to knit into the felted sitting mat. And then all of the other Nepal scraps that I have over here, I'm also going to do that with. But I think that is all of my current finished abandoned projects, all of my different kinds of projects. And then I also have a lot of planned projects, but those will have to wait. I need to clear my needles a bit. I think, how many projects do I have now? 7. That's a lot. I really want it to be a little bit less. I'm fine with like 3 or 4 projects. That's fine, because then I can like change between having like a hat and a huge sweater for myself, and then just some sort of in-between project. That is like the dream. But now I have 3 or 4 adult-sized sweaters currently on my needles, and that's a bit much. I really hope I'll be able to get some of these projects off my needles, and then I'll be back to talk about all of my knitting plans, because I am super excited about them after having gone a bit through my yarn this week. But that is everything I had for this week. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my projects. I would love to hear how many projects you have. How many projects do you like to have? Do you like to go in between, or are you a monogamous knitter? How many projects are too many projects? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about that. But now I'm going to go and see if I can get some of these off my needles. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. That means the absolute world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!